Of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and of course the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate you watching and listening wherever you get your podcasts. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can share, subscribe, follow, or do whatever it is that you can to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Lakers Fast Break. Of course, go ahead and check us out at happyhoardercollectibles.com and all the great things that we do out there today, plus popculturecosmos.wordpress.com, and all the things that we do, including Facebook on Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends each and every day for us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is having a blockbuster night as we speak. It's a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out, of course, at happyhoardercollectibles.com. He's got a ton of stuff for you to go ahead and check out in the world of pop culture. It is Josh the Great, Josh Peterson. Tell you what, my friend, a lot of stuff to talk about today. No stopping us here in the world of pop culture.
Yes. always something to talk about in pop culture. By the way, speaking of Blockbuster, have you seen I just got a bunch of these like Funko rewinds in. Remember we were talking about the Blockbuster setup that they had at the San Diego Comic-Con? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just got a bunch of those in. I got a Jurassic Park and Christmas Vacation one, but they're really cool. They come in like VHS, the old like VHS packs, the white ones that you can open and
Yeah.
close. Yeah, really neat.
Nice.
Love the Blockbuster throwbacks. And also, you see Toys R Us is opening some locations in the US again.
I did. I saw that about a week ago, and then yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what exactly it will be this time around. Is it still going to be something similar to what they are now, as far as being involved, as far as just a part of Macy's stores, or is it going to be something more elaborate as far as physical brick and mortar stores coming up? We'll wait and see, but yeah, definitely excited to see something coming back in the realm of Toys R Us more than it is now. So yeah, absolutely looking forward to it indeed. But we've got a great show, a lot of things to talk about, including, of course, Taylor Swift. How well did her movie, the Concert Eras Tour movie, do? We'll let you know about that. Plus, also as well, go ahead and check. We're going to talk about Gen V from Amazon, from the boys. What's going on with New York Comic Con? Disney prices. Well, I spoke a little bit too soon. We'll talk about that. But also, as well, Best Buy. Speaking of Best Buy, they made a move or going to be making a move away from physical media. So I want to hear Josh's thoughts on that. Plus, also, as well, the top selling Halloween costumes. That's right. What does Spirit have in mind? The spirit of Halloween. We'll talk about what Spirit Halloween stores here in the United States. What's the top selling? What's the top movers? Halloween costumes, of course, right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But first, my friend, it is the Microsoft Activision deal. It is finally done. Our days of worrying about whether or not the Call of Duty, the maker behind it, is actually going to go home to Microsoft and all that, as far as World of Warcraft, Overwatch 2, and more. Well, all those great games and all those great development studios are going under one roof now officially. It happened as of Friday, October 13th, after all the court cases and all the decisions that were made against them, all the undermining by PlayStation. It looks like everything can be now at ease for gamers and Xbox owners, because Microsoft and Activision are now finally all under one roof.
Yeah, good for them. I saw that they put out a trailer with some cool games on there, so you can kind of see what their, I don't know, what their showing as being important to them. I haven't been enjoying all the rumors of the Guitar Hero franchise being revived, so that
Mhm.
is definitely something I'm looking forward to. But I guess the big question here that everyone wants to know is like Blizzard's biggest franchise is World of Warcraft, right? Or Warcraft. Are we going to see that make its way to consoles in some form?
Would probably say yes. I think the transition would be now easier. I mean, they were actually part of the debut video. It's funny because on October 13th, Microsoft already had all nice and revved up a nice little trailer about all the popular properties that it has across all of their entirety as far as what's going on Xbox, and gives you the possibility as a gamer on what's up ahead if you go ahead and make sure you got your Xbox Games Pass. And obviously, Warcraft and Call of Duty, they were all cited alongst the Gears of War and Halo and everything else that Xbox already has under one roof, including Starfield, which is their latest mega hit. Yeah, I think it's something where we'll probably see Warcraft in some form, maybe get a revitalization by finally heading to consoles in one form or another.
Yeah, I wonder too though, because what World of Warcraft is what's like 15 plus years old, something like that.
Hmm.
So are we going to finally see like a when they release the Warcraft game on the consoles, are we going to see it packaged in a new Warcraft of some kind? Or like World WoW 2 or Warcraft 4 or 5, whatever they're on, or are we just going to see them like, hey, now you can play? Is WoW too old to make the jump to consoles, or do you think it has to be packaged as something new?
I think it has to be packaged as something new. I think it has to be a little bit of a redesign, a refresh, so to speak, because you're selling it to a new audience. You're not
Mhm.
selling it to us. You're selling it to kids who barely probably even heard a World of Warcraft. And if that's the case, you're selling it to teenagers who have lived their entire lives without even having to worry about what World of Warcraft is or even does, because of the fact that it's just, even though it's been a part of so many people's lives, and one time was one of the most popular games on the planet, it needs a refresh in order to get itself a new audience. So I could see itself doing that, and then going on to consoles and being part of Xbox Games Pass. Yeah, that would make it even sweeter.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. And then, what else were we looking at? We were looking at the Guitar Hero franchise,
Of course.
uh, Call of Duty. There's all these like Microsoft has got a pretty sweet deal out of this, but I guess
Mhm.
now we're wondering,
Well, I
all that
hope
new
so for $69 billion.
yeah, right. So, but then we hear about like Jim Ryan stepping down. Like, I'm curious if if him stepping down has anything to do with this deal going through.
Who knows? Who knows? But I know that one individual that everybody wants to, see step down, the CEO of Activision, Bobby Kotick, the, I guess, according in the gamer's eyes, the world's most hated man, because of the way he's treated the company basically over the
Mm,
past few years. It's just basically Call of Duty and not much else. I think that from what I hear, that reports are that the golden parachute for him will not happen until the end of the year, so that he it looks like he'll stay on until the end of the year at the very
yeah.
least. So I'm hoping that's the very most, and that we can go ahead and just put everything behind him, because as far as him being gone and out of the company, because he is such an albatross for them right now, in
Mhm.
all of this. And I understand getting all this together and organizing it and what forth, and but I really think that it's not a good look the longer that you keep him in there in his position as CEO of Activision.
Oh, absolutely not. From what I understand, like he has a pretty sweet severance package coming his
Oh, you
way,
know it.
and he seemed like he was already on his way out. Like I have a feeling like a lot of these negotiations that started between Microsoft and Blizzard, Activision, had a lot to do with him trying to cash out before he left, and and I think Microsoft has the ability to put the right leadership in place to get Blizzard and Activision, back in the good graces of the gamers and fans, and uh, things are gonna look up from here. I have a feeling. But
Well,
let me
yeah.
sorry, let me end this with one more question. Do you
Sure.
think that have absorbing a company this big is going to be bloat Microsoft, like have them not have enough resources to go around for something like this?
Just buy more Office, my friend, and that won't be a problem. Just buy another MS Office for the year, and yeah, that'll be just fine.
Sweet.
But I will tell you, my friend, one of the things I want to ask you though is there any one property you want to see more than most come to Xbox Games Pass, which would include anything from Activision, anything from Blizzard or King? Candy Crush could be coming to the Xbox Games Pass. You never know, my friend. But is there any one IP you're looking forward to seeing most come to an Xbox Games Pass now that Microsoft has the deal done?
I am through and through. I'm a Guitar Hero fan. I've always loved Guitar Hero.
Mhm.
I would love to see Guitar Hero come back, not as like a live service game, but how it was packaged before. When Guitar Hero 2 hit Xbox 360, came with a guitar, came with the game, didn't have to do anything involving the internet unless you were buying add-ons. Like I want a Guitar Hero game like that. I don't want a live service game. I just want a
Yeah.
Guitar Hero game.
Do you think it will even survive well again as a standalone game? Because I'm thinking as a live service game, I'd probably say it would be better suited for that. Maybe as like a free to play game. You just buy the equipment, but it's free to play, and then you just add on the songs for whatever price that they charge.
Yeah, well, yes, yeah, but
Eh,
I think there should be like in the original Guitar Heroes, you had like you're becoming a rock star, right? You're playing these different stages, these different shows. They should have something like that. Have like a 25 games like packaged on, sorry, not games, 25 songs packaged onto the games, and then if you want to download more, you're welcome to do that. But just like have a game that people can play without like needing to log into the internet or get onto to multiplayer, whatever it is. That's what I want to see. And also I want to see Spyro the Dragon.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
want a new Spyro. I want Spyro 4 or whatever they want to call it. I just want to see Spyro make its return to video games, TV screens all around the world.
Well, the mind wanders now as far as what the possibilities could be for what we see upcoming for Microsoft slash Xbox and their brand new acquisition, which has finally gone through on Activision, King, and Blizzard. Definitely a lot of things to look at as far as what the possible IPs that could be refreshed, regenerated, plus the existing one as well. But the first time a brand new Call of Duty goes under Games Pass and somebody doesn't have to spend $70, that instead of just going ahead and doing that, instead of spending the $70 like you do on PlayStation, just that
Yep.
alone, once that starts, my God, that's going to be really, really a good sell for Xbox. If nothing moves Xboxes, if that doesn't, nothing will.
Yeah, and also like look at it this way, while while Xbox did say, "Hey, we're going to continue to release these games on PlayStation," the play to get them on PlayStation, you're still going to have to pay $70 like you said.
Hmm.
So this is going to be good motivation for people to buy the Xbox, get the Games Pass or whatever, the cloud gaming, however they want to do it, and play Call of Duty for free or not for free. You got to pay that $18 a month, but still, it's a better deal than paying $70 for it because you can play Call of Duty and make that monthly payment twice, three times maybe, and cancel it when you're done. That's kind of the whole subscription thing.
I will tell you though that it's very, very exciting to see exactly what is the future now for Microsoft. And I don't know, my friend. You talked about bloated. I want to see the opportunity to get bloated. I want to see the fact that all these IPs, which are now under Microsoft's roof, actually come over and be a part of Xbox Games Pass. Because we've seen in recent years the trouble. The main thing behind Xbox as far as the reason why they're still distant number three is the fact that they have not been able to produce that many first party games. And now that they have all these great studios slash publishers all under one roof, now there's no more excuses. They have to start
Mhm.
churning out things in a great expediency and almost double up on Nintendo and PlayStation from this point forward.
Oh, absolutely, and I have a feeling that within the next 3 years, we're gonna see a year where Microsoft about 80 to 90% of the releases that come out for video games are going to be under Microsoft's banner, and Microsoft's just they're gonna kill it. They're gonna have an amazing year, and even leading into like this next generation of consoles are supposed to be, what was it, 5 6 years they're saying in those
Hmm.
papers. Um, when that happens, I think Microsoft's going to come out on top, and they're going to stay on top. Just not because their games are amazing; they might be amazing. Hopefully, they're good, but just because they have so many games coming out.
What are your thoughts out there on the actual purchase now that it's done for a tidy 69, well, just a little under $69 billion? Microsoft has now purchased Activision, also as well, of course, King for your Candy Crush delight, and of course, Blizzard for your Warcraft and Overwatch 2 and all of that as well. What are your thoughts on the biggest gaming purchase of all time? Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, before we get to the rest of the stuff on today's show, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and say I was wrong. I talked
Uh-oh.
about last week about Disney and how I was a little bit upset about the Disney Plus prices going up. And I said, well, they're not doing that to the Disneyland theme parks. Wrong. For the second time this year, not only did they raise the prices twice this year on Disney Plus, but they've raised the prices twice now on the Disneyland theme parks in certain parts of the experience as far as the entry fees and the passes and all that.
So
Twice in a year, man. That
what are we
just really
looking
blows
at?
my mind.
What are we looking at though? What are the prices? Because I saw the articles, but is there an official like listing for how much things are going to cost?
Yeah, as far as what part of the experience are you looking at as far as the prices are concerned? I mean,
Just
um,
getting into the park.
yeah, just getting into the park. Well, what went up as far as whether you're looking to go ahead and do the year-round package that they have for that some people really look forward to, that's gone up. So it looks like it's gone up between about what 7 to 10% in most cases, but yeah,
Jeez.
like 1 day, one park tickets, those have gotten even a small amount of increase, a $5 increase there. But then you go all the way up to the multi-day passes. That's gone up 30 bucks here, 30 bucks there, 40 bucks here, 40 bucks there. From a 2 day to a 5 day, you got your park hoppers, which are now at Disneyland here, there in Southern California, are something that really people look forward to. The add-ons are like $5 and $10 here. It's like it's going up, my friend. It's going up. But I understand the inflation, but to me, doing it twice in 1 year, the magic keys, which people look forward to, as I talked about, as far as the year-round packages that you can go, you buy one ticket, and it's good for year-round, except for the blackout dates. Those even have gone up by as much as $100 in some cases as well over the course of a year package. I mean, then the Genie Plus, which is the obviously trying to get you on the rides faster, that goes up. Parking has even gone up a few dollars too. So again, this is to me, it's not the fact that they raised the prices. To me, it's the irritating fact that they raised it twice in 1 year. That to me is not really smart.
Well, yes, it's insane, but like look at it. People are still gonna go to Disneyland because we're at a point now where Disneyland you have to make reservations to go to Disneyland. And every time you go there, it's packed. Like even after like we went after they raised the prices and people were still packing in there. Like you couldn't move. There's just some I there's is there a ceiling, do you think? Is there a ceiling for Disneyland tickets to where it'll get so high that people will stop going? Because I keep wondering, back when I was living in California, it was like 75 bucks for a one-day ticket to get to Disneyland. Now it starts at a base of $104 and people
It's
still
even
pay it.
it's go was now it's even higher than that now. So I don't
Yeah.
know, man. There will be a point where there's got to be a limit, and there's going to be a point where they're going to see their traffic go down to Disneyland, Disney World in Florida, and then Disneylands all over the world if they keep on raising the prices. We're just counting out the one at Disneyland in Southern California, but I'm assuming that they're doing similar price structures all across the world. But it's again, it's the fact that you're raising prices twice in a year. That
Yeah.
to me is seemingly unfair. It just seemingly just the wrong move, and it sends the wrong message twice in 1 year.
Oh, absolutely, and I don't know why they're doing it. If they're looking at it through the lens that I am looking at it right now, like people are gonna go to Disneyland, or if it's because they've had so many monumental failures in their box office, films, and they're not sell their merchandise marketings, the revenue from that's gone down, and it's what factors are contributing to this?
I understand, of course, about what we talk about as far as inflation and the economy and things of that nature, but it seems to be rising faster at Disneyland and Disney World than most other places because there is a level of inflation that there, as far as products out there. And then there's what we see at Disneyland because Disneyland and Disney World, those prices seemingly are going up even higher. And then of course with Disney Plus, their rate hike, it's getting harder and harder, my friend, to go and support Disney with the way that they're acting lately.
Yeah, yeah, it's like I said, I don't know where the ceiling is, but, let me ask you a question. Have you heard these whispers going around the internet of Apple buying Disney?
Well, I've been hearing that for a while now, as far as possibly Disney, selling its assets off. I don't think, or at least I don't believe that they would sell off their theme park business. There's also the possibility, which is the more likely possibility, that they sell those television divisions, like starting with ABC and ESPN. Those are the ones that have been long rumored to be on the sale block that's out there. Freeform, which we have talked about and joked about for many years, cannot believe that's still on the air. But yeah, that's something that probably they would love to go ahead and sell off. And then, all their other smaller stuff too. But the theme parks, I'm not sure they would give that up. They would have to be such a tremendous deal by Apple or another entity in order to go ahead and buy it or to sell it off, that part of it. I know even Byron Allen, who is a billionaire many times over and a very successful media mogul, he has talked about possibly buying some of those television divisions off as well. So this could be a very real possibility that Disney as we know it could change at some point down the road in the future.
Yeah, but again, I'm just interested to see where the ceiling is for Disneyland. How high can they go? Because this is not going to be, and I'm calling it right here. This is in the next 6 months. This is not going to be the last price hike we're going to see.
It's no longer the happiest place on earth, my friend, if that's the case. Not for me, anyways. Or
Hmm.
my wallet, I should say. But what are your thoughts out there on the price hikes for Disney Plus and the Disney parks in a lot of cases that have happened over the course of the past year? Disneyland has seen its rates go up twice in 1 year, and that also includes some other Disney properties as well. So, what are your thoughts? Are you as angry as we are getting in regards to the prices of Disney, of being Disney, of everything Disney? Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, before we get to the half hour break, I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about T Swift, Swifties as it were, because Her Eras Tour movie debuted a few days ago, and this weekend at the box office, she has achieved box office success with one of the highest October openings of all time, right around $100 million here domestically. It looks like it's going to be a very successful movie over the course of the here next few weeks. Although it's funny because they're having an unusual release schedule. They're actually gonna it goes dark, I believe, Monday through Wednesday, and then comes back up for showings on Thursday through the weekend. So it's going to be very unusual to see how this is going to be laid out. It's actually smart because those are the days that it's not really, I guess, how should I say, not really for the theaters very profitable for them to go ahead and be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But yeah, basically right now is another success story in a litany in a really I guess sea of success stories so far this year for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was wondering if they were going to be playing these movies on the same nights that she's doing concerts.
Hmm.
If they were afraid maybe that the concert and the movie, like, they're gonna start consuming each other, or preventing sales of one thing. People are like, oh, why should I go pay thousands of dollars to go see Taylor Swift live when I just go to a movie theater? So I was curious how that was going to work, but I am surprised. Most of the time you see movie theaters doing like concert events, they don't do so well. But then looking at this Taylor Swift thing making $100 million, like, this is one of those things where it's not a movie. You don't go and see it and then the hype dies down after a week. You're gonna have continue to see people going to this thing as time goes on. So are we going to see Taylor Swift be the first concert to cross $1 billion in the box office? Wouldn't that be insane?
It's a done deal, my friend. I mean, she picks it back up, I think, here either this week or not in the not too distant future as far as her upcoming dates. So she'll be on the road again, and yeah, I think that is going to be a no-brainer, my friend. Yeah, well over $1 billion by the time her tour, because she hasn't even hit overseas, my friend. She
Yeah.
hasn't even gone overseas, and when she does that, my gosh, she's just going to be more popular than ever, and out there, and just you talk about the craze as far as getting the tickets here and the prices here, just trying to go ahead and get into one of the biggest tours of all time. Yeah, I have no doubt that this will be, by the time it's all said and done, this Eras tour is over, the highest grossing tour, if not already, of all time.
Yeah, but even the movies, so, like, I think that there's a very high likeliness that the movie itself, like, or seeing it in the theaters will cross $1 billion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If that's the thing though, it's a limited run right now, but I think 3 or 4 weeks as far as the limited run. But I see it expanding upon that. I see the number of dates being increased, and we could very well likely see this concert film being available to fans on a limited basis throughout the rest of this year.
Oh, absolutely, and plus, they'll probably, I mean, if they were smart, they'd be like, "Okay, this is her singing in America, this is her singing in Europe, this is her singing in the what do you the Asian market." Like, the possibilities are endless. On top of that, you throw in some exclusive Taylor Swift merchandise, and the movie itself is gonna sell. It's going to sell gangbusters.
And we haven't even talked about digital release, if there's
Mhm.
Blu-ray, although physical media will come up in a second here, my friend. Digital media, things of that nature. And, people want to go ahead and experience it live in their own homes. As far as put on the nice stereo system and all that. And then you're not even talking about which streaming service does it come to, and the money that can be generated from that. So yeah, definitely the money train isn't going to be stopping anytime soon for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I wonder too if we're gonna be seeing other artists trying to pull off the same thing.
We could see Beyonce do that. Probably that's the closest right now in success stories to her, or
Mhm.
someone else. Absolutely could see that happening. But What are your thoughts out there on Taylor Swift's success stories, including the Eras Tour movie, which opened to over about $100, excuse me, about $100 million, excuse me, about $100 million at the box office this weekend. What are your thoughts out there on the success of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour movie? Please let us know your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. Wanted to talk to you about, speaking of physical media, as we did before the break, with the possibility that the Eras Tour movie could become like a, I don't know, that again could be a digital album or an album, a vinyl that could be made of the Eras Tour, and then also as well a Blu-ray and things of that nature. But speaking of physical media, my friend, which you are a great specialist in with the happyhoardercollectibles.com. Best Buy, it's been reported that will make the decision right here in the next few months, or by the end of the year or shortly thereafter, to stop selling physical media of any kind, meaning Blu-rays, DVDs, video games. Obviously, they want to generate more space in the store for something else. You are actually wearing a part of the past on yourself. They're called the Blockbuster stores we talked about on the beginning of the show. This just seems like a new changing of the times, in that the world is becoming more reliant on digital purchases and less reliant on physical media. You and I have talked about the upcoming changes in the console wars and how the consoles will be coming out with the less and less options for physical media. Your thoughts, my friend, on this again, because I know as someone who loves his physical media, this has not got to be a great decision with you, my friend.
No, and it's sad because Best Buy was one of the last places that you could go to now for DVDs and Blu-rays and video and physical copies of things. You know, you go to Target, Target has maybe two two shelves full of DVDs and Blu-rays now.
Hmm.
At Walmart's, depending on where you go, Walmart, like there's a couple Walmarts out here that have a, like a couple aisles worth of them, and then there's other Walmarts that are cut down to three sections. So it is sad and it's foolish, but what it's going to do is it's going to create a new market for, much like the VHS tapes going on right now. It's going to create a new market for people who want to buy all this physical media before it's unavailable, and it's going to cause the cost of it to go up. We're going to see DVDs, even things that hardly ever get watched, that you can find for 99 cents at most places, 99 cents to, $2 or $3. We're going to see the price of that stuff shoot up, and it's going to create a whole new collector's market.
That's one of the things recently that the Ubisoft CEO talked about when they were confronted with the question of whether or not that physical media will be gone entirely, especially when it comes to video games. And he said that there will always be a collector's market for it.
Hmm.
So he thinks that physical media, even though it will diminish and decrease in sales over the coming years even more, that there will still be some kind of market for physical video games or physical media, as it were, simply because of the fact that, again, there's just a collector's market like you and I, our age or thereabouts, that lived and grew up on physical media and just does not want to let it go.
Yeah, and by this time too, there's enough of it out in the world. DVDs, Blu-ray, CDs, video games, whatever it might be. There's enough of it floating around out in the world to where these aftermarket stores,
Hmm.
like, there's like Book Off in California, we have Entertain Mart out here, like all these places that thrive on secondhand sales. We're going to see them, that kind of business continue, and it's not only just going to continue, it's going to grow because they're making things scarce now.
Absolutely. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly how the market itself evolves and changes. And brings me to the and as far as the video game world, back to the video game world on physical media. There's the publisher that you and I both know, Limited Run Games.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's going to either put them out of business or give them a world of business, as far as the decision to go ahead and decrease physical media, because if it does mean, as far as increase of collectibles, could be a boon for a company like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a limited run games is a company that, yeah, they make money off re-releasing old things. So I mean, I think that they'll be fine because as long as there's old games, retro games, whatever that people want to collect, they'll be fine. But how many of those are they going to be releasing? And then once these other video game companies catch on to what's going on, are they going to be like, oh, maybe we should be the ones re-releasing this stuff?
It'll be interesting to see, my friend, exactly everything that goes on with the physical media market. I know that, especially the fact that you have such a close affiliation with Best Buy in the past, and to
Mhm.
see them finally making the decision to go ahead and move on from physical media by the end of the year or shortly thereafter is something that's going to be, like we talked about with Toys R Us, like we talked about with other entities from the past that we grew up with. It's going to be a part of our childhood, a part of our lives, that it's going to be gone forever. And it's going to be a very sad thing to see when you don't go into Best Buy and you don't have the ability to go ahead and buy any physical media anymore.
Yeah, but I think we're also going to see this problem bleed into these streaming services that are all over the place now. Because you're going to have, once this happens, my gut's telling me that all these companies, Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney, whatever, they're no longer going to let disperse their stuff out to Netflix or Hulu or wherever their stuff goes. They're gonna monopolize it onto their own platforms, and then we're gonna see this war where these companies are gonna start consuming each other, and it's going to be interesting to watch.
It will be, and we'll go ahead and monitor it here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. That's always, rest assured there. But what are your thoughts on the future of physical media after the reports have come up that Best Buy will stop selling physical media in sometime in the near future? We'd love to hear your thoughts on what the future might be. Are you into an all digital future? Please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Josh is like shaking his head. No, no,
Mm-mm.
no. I, I can't say I blame you, and our good friends at the Retro City Games also agree with you as well. But before we head to the break, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and report on some stuff that went on with New York Comic Con. New York Comic Con is one of the more popular New York Comic Cons. One of the more popular Comic Cons out now, and it's been actually a lot of good stuff that's been announced. And one of the things I wanted to start off with is something that I know would be of great interest to you: is that a new Dragon Ball series, Dragon Ball Daima, is confirmed for next year. Your thoughts on a new Dragon Ball series coming to fans out there?
Yeah, I watched the trailer for it, and while I am happy to see more Dragon Ball, it has kind of gone in the opposite direction of what I think I wanted and what other fans wanted. Like we wanted to see uh Gohan, we want to see Gohan hit that new beast mode that he's got that happened in Dragon Ball Superhero. We wanted to see more of that. We wanted to see more Goku. We finally got to a point where Trunks and Goten are grown up, and then this happens and all of a sudden they're all kids again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it seems it's cool that Akira Toriyama is doing The animation looks really cool, but this it's been done before. It's been done. Like we've seen we've seen them turn back into kids. We've seen that Dragon Ball GT, like Pilaf wishes Goku would turn to a kid again. Dragon Ball Super, Pilaf turns himself and they get turned into kids again. It seems to be a reoccurring theme in Dragon Ball. But I guess my big thought here is, now that they're all kids, is this show going to take itself seriously, or is it going to be like one of those uh, OVAs that take place in an alternate universe where everyone's like small characters and it's all jokes and things like that?
It's going to be interesting to see. And the question I have is this series, when it comes out next year, going to be able to target an even larger audience? Is my question. Will it get to an even more casual audience? And on what platform is this going to be showcased at? That's what also I want to know as well. I mean, is it just going to be on Crunchyroll? Is it just going to be on on that type of format, or will it go the way we've seen of some others, like, for instance, Netflix? What if the Dragon Ball Z saga or the Dragon Ball series as a whole got onto a platform like Netflix, my friend?
You know what's weird is that the Dragon Ball rights are complicated because Disney owns the live action rights to Dragon Ball because that
Mm.
came with their deal with Fox. But I
Then why
forget
aren't
what.
we watching it on Disney Plus?
Yeah, that's a great question too because they don't own the cartoon rights. So it's a weird, really weird thing. But yeah, if Disney were smart, they would be trying to get Dragon Ball onto their platform because I can see that, especially this new show, if they made it exclusive to Disney Plus, it could do really great things for them. But I'm looking at this, you look at a show like Naruto, and they had Naruto, the mainline characters, and they went on to like Baruto, which is Naruto Next Generation, and then whatever else comes after that. Dragon Ball would be smarter if they wanted to get a new generation of fans into the show. It would be smart of them to highlight a new generation of characters, link them to the old characters, but highlight a new generation of characters. I know that opinion would make me unpopular amongst fans, but that's really the only way you're going to do it because you just keep not reinventing, but redoing things with the old characters. And how long until the people who grew up with the old characters, much like we talk about Star Wars, how
Yeah,
long till the people that grew up with the old characters are how long are they going to keep watching the show?
yeah. Well, again, it's something to definitely do look into because it's a Dragon Ball series. Is the Dragon Ball IP has just been this long-standing, just well-performing series, and I just think it needs to grow and be able to adapt and also be a part of a larger entity such as a Disney Plus or a Netflix or something where a lot of eyeballs can actually go ahead and embrace this new Dragon Ball series. But will that happen? We'll find out as Dragon Ball series comes next year, next fall 2024 is Dragon
Mhm.
Ball Daima. So go ahead and check it out. But always, we want to hear your thoughts on what's going on with Dragon Ball. And do you agree with Josh that this could be something that people can really get into Dragon Ball, or do you need another platform that needs to go on, or just the whole equation when it comes to Dragon Ball? What's the future of Dragon Ball in your eyes? Please let us know. Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, that was just a little taste but before the break on what we said and what we were talking about with New York Comic Con, but there was so much more talked about. It's getting larger and larger, so it's a good thing to see. As I don't know if they're just getting or trailing away from San Diego Comic Con a little bit, but it's definitely interesting thing to see. I know the SAG after strike also has affected it as far as the individuals that could not attend New York Comic Con, but still, we got some great trailers and announcements, including the new Invincible Season 2 trailer that just dropped. That hit series for Amazon. Cannot wait until that comes out on November 3rd. Not too far into the future, my friend. Did you like Invincible Season 1? I think you did from what we were talking about.
Yeah, I did. It was hyper violent. It was a lot. I was not expecting that. I knew I'd read some of the comic
Or
books.
you
I knew
should
the
see.
comic
Oh,
books were
Robert
violent.
Kirkland made this, correct?
Yeah. Kirkman, I think his name, but
Kirkman, yeah, Kirkman
yeah.
from The Walking Dead. So we'll talk about The
Mhm.
Walking Dead here in a second, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of not like a G-rated show itself, you know.
No, it's not. It's just unexpected. You watch a cartoon that has the same animation style as the cartoons you grew up with. You're like, "Ah, this is gonna be good," and then somebody gets their the skin ripped off their face. So yeah, I like it, but just don't watch with your kids.
No, definitely don't watch it with the kids. But Amazon Prime, let me ask you this before we get into anything else. With Gen V, which has also come out in recent weeks, Gen V has come out to pretty good critical ratings, and a lot of people are talking about it as far as it's a side story in the world of the boys. And if you got a chance to check it out, it's like think of it like Gen Z for us here in reality. It's Gen V, based off the chemical compound that was injected into these young adults that are attending a college and all the stuff that goes on as far as the development of superheroes per se, but interesting concept. And I wasn't sure if it was working or would work, but it seems to have worked so far. But just seems like Amazon Prime is not afraid to push the limits of what television could be about as far as the content. It is very adult by nature. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. If you don't want to watch it, it clearly tells you ahead of time not to do so if you're not into the adult content that it has. But it's interesting to see Amazon Prime of all places really push the limits with Invincible and what we see now with The Boys and Gen V really push the limits of what they're doing on their television platform.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's a lot of like you said, a lot of adult content and
I'm
that
not saying
but
I disagree with it either.
no, 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 absolutely not. But it's just they on Amazon Prime, like there's not really like Disney is obviously hindered by the audience and the audience expectations of content. Amazon's not though. They're just like they're free to do whatever they want. You know, they could put as much violence or I guess profanity, nudity, whatever on their thing, but
Yeah.
it's
Netflix leans towards that way as well on occasion.
they do, but Amazon also has the money to mess up on things. Like if they try something and it doesn't do so well, it's not going to hurt their bottom line. And
Yeah, Lord of
that's
the Rings, for instance, the $500 million investment into that, it didn't do quite as well as they had hoped as far as the Lord of the Rings series is concerned so
right,
far.
but people are still watching it though. Like that's the even if it comes out to they get maybe a small fraction returned on that, like it's still they still have the money to do it. Whereas like Netflix, we're seeing more and more now when they're pumping these stories out, people get tired of them, stop watching them, they get canceled. But Amazon doesn't have to worry about losing money on things because they just have so much of it.
It's still interesting. I still complained a little bit as an Amazon Prime subscriber that they should need a little or should have a little bit more content, but it's much better than it was when we first started doing the show. And the
Mhm.
Prime Video was absolutely an afterthought to them. And they only had like old shows and movies on their platform. And they've really changed that around. Obviously could use a little bit more content, but it's getting in the right direction. And I'm glad to see. So.
Yeah, yeah, me too. And the stuff that they do put out though, like there's a lot of stuff that is very, very high quality. So I'd rather see slow releases come out that are really good than a bunch of fast releases that, hit or miss.
I will say one of those things that's under the radar that people do like that is coming to Amazon is later this week for Upload. So go check out the Upload season 3 when it hits later this week, I believe on the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. But again, a lot of stuff going on there with Invincible coming November 3rd to Amazon Prime. Want to also mention at New York Comic Con, Monarch Legacy of Monsters gets another trailer, and that's also coming out in November 17th to Apple TV Plus. Are you interested as a monster guy for Godzilla and all that? Are you interested in Monarch Legacy of Monsters?
Yeah, I thought about this yesterday. I saw the trailer and I like the movies because they're not super long and it's just kind of you know what you're getting out of it when you walk in to the theater and it's over quickly.
Mhm.
The big question here is am I or just audiences in general going to be able to connect to a thing that runs across multiple episodes, having so many hours of content that exists in this world? Are they going to be able to create a story that makes people want to keep watching this? Or is it just going to be, 10, 12 episodes of monsters fighting each other? In which case, like, what's the point of having it on a TV show? Why don't you just save yourself the money and put it out in movie form?
I also want to mention from Apple TV Plus that For All Mankind, a show that yeah, it has this alternate timeline history, which I really got into. I really kind of dug that. So that's also coming out on the 10th of November. So go ahead and check that out in Apple TV Plus, the season 4 for them. So there's a trailer as well. Go ahead and check that out. But yes, definitely looking forward to For All Mankind in November as well, along with Monarchy. Legacy of Monsters. So we're definitely looking forward to both. But the Walking Dead still lives, my friend, in the form of new series. Of course, the one that everybody's been pointing to finally getting the light of day. Instead of calling it Rick and Michonne, which I really thought that's what they should have called it, it's called Walking Dead: The Ones Who Live with Denai Gurura and Andrew Lincoln. Finally coming back for a small truncated series coming in February 2024. Showed a little another teaser on it, and then also as well, Melissa McBride. She's returning the Carol character to season 2 of Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon. It's going to be called The Book of Carol when it comes out next year. Again, they just cannot seem to escape the past. I remember when we talked about on this show the impending movie that was going to be the Rick movie after he decided he was going to part ways with The Walking Dead. They were going to talk about doing a movie, but that movie unfortunately fell into a series. Now has fallen into a limited series based off the popularity of The Walking Dead. It's still going strong, my friend. We've seen the latest series, two series, side series for The Walking Dead do pretty good in the ratings for AMC. They've both been renewed, and seems like they don't want to let go of these characters, and I don't think these actors want to let go of those characters as well. Money wise, that's why probably.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a nice paycheck.
Yeah.
But how much longer? Because let me ask you a question: is the mainline Walking Dead series still going?
No, that's supposed to be dead. That's supposed to be done, finito. So
Okay.
that's why you're having all these side stories within the universe, is because these characters which you followed for many years still have stories to tell outside the main universe. For instance, Daryl Dixon, he went to France. That's the basis of season 1. For instance, like Negan, uh, he and Maggie, they had their adventures on in New York, which was after the events of what happened with the of course the main series. And the same thing with Rick and Michonne. That's supposed to be outside of what we see. So yeah, the main series is done, but it looks like the series itself, the IP itself, can't let go of its past. It's got to return these characters continuously to The Walking Dead in some form or fashion.
So I wonder if they're going to be using these series to create closure for these characters, closure for the fans that have been following them since the beginning of the series, or if this is going to be another attempt to beat this franchise to death. No pun intended.
Well, they're already doing that, my friend. I mean, but this is no longer the 15 million people watching every week. And now it gets to the point where they're just thankful for a million and a half people watching each week. So they've already beaten it to death already, my friend. Pardon the pun. But yeah, that's something that they've already done. It's already too well beyond of what we're already looking at. So yeah, I I, I agree that they should have canceled it and finished it off years ago. But you know what? I've checked out some of the stuff that they've offered since the closure of the series, and it's not too bad from what I see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's great, but you know what's going to be really disappointing is if they start these things, they create these great stories, viewership drops, and as they're attempting to create closure to show you what happened to these characters, they don't get to finish it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, my friend. There's still a little bit more at New York Comic Con. That I want to go ahead and finish up on as far as Earth Defense Force 6. Really under the radar hit series that I enjoy because it's just crazy stuff always happening. That'll be coming out for PS5 and PC in spring 2024. Also, as well, The Strangers, which we've really not talked about yet, as far as a horror series that will hopefully be coming here in the not too distant future, was more talked about with director Rennie Harlan. Talking about that is his famous quote from this press conference was, he's calling The Strangers the Titanic of horror movies. So I'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, overall, the New York Comic Con bringing us some more and more interesting stuff. Your thoughts on the New York Comic Con before we head on out?
I don't know. I kind of think that New York Comic Con would be a much better fan experience than the San Diego Comic Con, especially the way it's been recently. because New York Comic Con, that's where all the big like toy dealers go. The toy dealers, comic book dealers, all these big companies are there. So if you're looking to do some shopping, like that's an amazing place to go. San Diego Comic Con, on the other hand, it was once known for things like that, but not so much anymore. Like it's kind of becoming like E3. It's less every year. Like there's less and less there, and I'm looking at LA Comic Con. They're suffering from the what do you call it, the actor strike. So they're where once there's a bunch of actors and things like that, they have like bands, not bands, like people from bands there. So you can get stuff signed by like Ozzy Osbourne, the couple people from Slipknot. It's been a weird, like this actor strike is having a really weird effect on things. But I think that we're gonna see a time when New York Comic Con is the dominant Comic Con, and we're gonna be seeing like the Marvel trailers and stuff coming out of there instead of San Diego.
We'll see what happens, my friend, but I'm looking forward to it. But it is the New York Comic Con. Your thoughts out there on what's going on with New York Comic Con? Could be some exclusives coming soon after that to happyhoardercollectibles.com. You never know. We'll wait
You
and
never
see.
know. Yeah, I mean, Funko released some pretty cool exclusives from New York Comic Con too that you can get on their websites. But yeah, I would love to. One day, man, one day I want to have some Happy Hoarder Comic Con exclusives.
Go ahead and check it out today, happyhoardercollectibles.com. But what are your thoughts on New York Comic Con? Let us know, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, my friend, we are now in the part of the month Halloween season where parents have not yet realized that they need to go ahead and get their kids some costumes. So little Timmy and little Janie are probably coming up to dad and say, "What am I going to be wearing for the school parades and all that?" So if you haven't taken care of it, we told you our advice. You shop early for Halloween costumes because they will sell out in the sizes that you want. But what are the most popular? What are the most popular Halloween costumes this year? And if your answer is Barbie, that's the right answer, which you should have said it is, because it is not only the most popular movie of this year, it is something that obviously a lot of people are trending towards. It's funny because what's old is new again, as Barbie and Ken are some of the most popular costumes out there, as reported on by Spirit Halloween, the largest Halloween store chain in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say it's not like nobody saw that coming, right? And so
Yeah.
they're Barbie, I'm sure we're gonna be seeing, more Marvel characters.
I could just tell you about from my time. I worked in the earlier part of the last decade as running Spirit Halloween stores, and I could tell you Barbie and Ken's weren't moving that fast then, but my God, they are now, my friend.
People just need the right motivation to wear them. Like Barbie has become a not just a film, but a movement. Like we talked about Avengers Endgame being a pop culture movement. Barbie has become a pop culture movement. Things that Barbies were once cheap when you go to the store, but now the prices of those have gone up because people are seeing like, oh hey, I can cash in on this.
Yeah, absolutely. And also as well, Bluey, which is a hugely popular children's series on Disney Plus. Bluey characters are very popular for Halloween costumes this year. So if you're looking for Bluey, if they're looking for Bluey, you better be on the march right now looking for Bluey right now, because they're selling fast. Chucky, the old standby, that costume is selling well. Clowns is usually sells well in some scary form or another. Also as well, according to Spirit Halloween, Harry Potter is still a decent seller out there for them. And Wednesday, from last year's successful Netflix series, not quite as popular as it was last year, but it's still selling well. And for some reason, get this, my friend, even after all these years with South Park, an adult Eric Cartman inflatable costume is selling well. Your thoughts? I mean, Michael Myers, of course, is selling well. Chucky sells well, but when you hear Eric Cartman, what's up with that?
I think that we are constantly underestimating the power of South Park. That it is a show that will probably run into 100 seasons, and it'll still be 5, 10 years from now, assuming Matt and Trey Parker are still working on it. it's still going to be just as popular because there are always things going on in society that they can riff on, and it's always going to be something. And people are always, I see, you go to the store, you go to Kohl's or Target or whatever, you see South Park merchandise, you see shirts and socks and things like that. And I'm sure we'll come across like Funko Pops and action figures. It's only a matter of time. I think South Park is literally just getting started as far as how much money that series is going to make.
So, what are your thoughts out there on the most popular Halloween costumes right now, as reported on by our largest chain here in the US of Halloween stores, Spirit Halloween? Please let us know your thoughts, popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. So, before I go ahead and say, Eric, like Eric Cartman, screw you guys, I'm out of here. What's going on with the Happy Hoarder?
We are doing an Oktoberfest thing coming up this weekend. We're going to be at our last Comic Con of the year. It'll be in the beginning of December. Keep checking the website. I'm in the process. I'm a one man team. Well, my wife's helping me out, but with the website, I'm a one man team. So I'm working on getting things up there and ready to be ordered for the holiday season. So hopefully, come November 1st, you'll see a beautiful new homepage, and that'll be great. Also, I do want to mention that I watched the Meg 2 on Friday, and it was a popcorn flick for sure. And it was not a great movie, but it was a fun movie.
Okay, well, there you go. You had a chomping good time right there, my
Oh,
friend.
I did. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, my friend, it's been a great episode. Got a lot covered on today's show, but any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
No, but our favorite time of the year is quickly approaching in the
Hmm.
form of Black Friday. And with these rumors of the physical media going away, what is that going to look like?
It'll be interesting to see, and we'll report on that because I love our Black Friday shows each and every year. It'll be interesting to see what the sales will look like after the aftermath this past week of the October Amazon Prime days. So we'll see exactly how much people are able to spend. Looking forward to seeing what the deals are, the enticements. So, yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to indeed. But if you have thoughts or suggestions, or give us a hint on exactly what you think will go on sale, or if you head on over and find some deals for us that we'd love to report on, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great